Good Sunday morning, neighbors. Going to go back to that risk word again. This is for all you philosophers out there that want to debate true or false, absolute versus relative. So, a risk, the word itself, what is a risk? Can you break a risk into a binary proposition, yes or no? Do you accept this risk or not? This is about consent, but in order to give consent, you have to consent to what you're agreeing, what the action's going to be. So, risk analysis is a process, is a system, is a thing, is a part of business, government, industry, and even your house. You clean the kitchen to avoid the risk of contamination from some type of illness, right? You are mitigating risk. You're not eliminating it. If you didn't clean again in 3 weeks, something might grow from something you missed. So now you get anal about it, right? Now you go overboard and it becomes an obsession to clean because you realize that resistance is futile. So we know of risks. Should you be afraid of risks? Well, therein lies the philosophical debate, right? The big questions. But some of these can be answered. This is how you reason through these things. So in this risk word we're talking about, we constantly evaluate. It's our nature. We grew up with risks all around us. It used to be lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. And it has grown and gotten very much different. And it's not so much lions and tigers and bears. It's a lot more oh my's, though. So this is what institutions can do when properly focused and funded. They can analyze and assess these risks, these analog risk models that depend on understanding ratios and percentages. For a long time, this risk model has been used. It is how the Environmental Protection Agency came into being. The risks of those chemical plants had to be moderated. It is interstate, intercontinental commerce. So these risks have been evaluated. There isn't one book you can go back to get to an answer for this. So that's a challenge. But talking about risks, like the risk of not electing Bernie. Bernie's conversation is the most pointed that the nation's probably ever heard. He is on topic, on subject, and listens reasonably. And that can't be said for many other contenders out there. He's been consistent. He hasn't been bought, seduced. He has no tea party. And no cotton for folks like that. But we'll sit down and listen. Because if an idea is good, it stands on its own. All labels aside. If monitoring, regulating pollution is good, all labels aside, that's the goal. Regulating. So just listen to some libertarian salesmen. What childish, shallow nonsense. This is survival stuff. This is thinking that if the world blows up and you survive, life will be good. And the odds aren't that good. So, the risks of electing somebody who bases their life's theory on one book is a risk. A risk to our nation, a threat to our constitutional liberties. So, risks. And with that, I'll close the sermon. Hope everyone's good. Weather here in Portland has been really mild, unusually mild, very low rainfall. Looks like it's going to rain, but we aren't getting enough. And most of the weather's going around this area because of the mountain range that's behind us and air flows out of Idaho and Washington. It's their air helping to moderate this area. This is, it's not the Weather Channel. Anyway, peace out, folks. Understand risks, the risks of not voting.